Thank you, Chair, and thank you for your indulgence. Ms. Faro, Commissioner Faro, we are going to continue with your statement. We were at paragraph, I think, 43. Where to start with paragraph 43? Where to start with paragraph 43? I think we had touched a bit just at a high level, but I'd like us to start with it afresh, just to refresh ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you. Before I start, I just reflected, Commissioner Baloy, the APS wasn't insourced when it moved over to the city manager's office. It was just change in management. I don't know if I understood it correctly that it said it was insourced when it moved to the office of the city manager. It was actually just a movement of management, not insourced.
Okay.
So I just wanted to correct that if it maybe is confusing.
Okay. All right.
Thank you so much, Commissioners and Chairperson. If I can start, I'll just read. I did touch on this paragraph as well as the next one, but I just would like to read it into record. Thank you, Chairperson. Request for additional funding. I initially became aware of a request for additional funding or an extension of the existing budget relating to the additional sites through emails from Deputy Commissioner Dlamini to Deputy Commissioner Revo Spies on 12 March 2025. This email from Deputy Commissioner Dlamini stated that the deployment of the ad hoc security guards had grown exponentially and indicated that an extra 37 sites were added in January 2025, with a further 6 sites added in February 2025. In total, it came to 43 sites. I was copied in this email and notably, it attached invoices for ad hoc services for January and February 2025. That must also just be corrected, Commissioners. I see it's 2026, it should be 2025. A copy of this email is attached here to, marked as YF6. Upon receiving this communication, I became aware of the cost and the fact that there was no clarity of the procurement of this ad hoc security services. It was also not apparent that there was a proper procedure in place. I immediately instructed Deputy Commissioner Spies to stop the ad hoc security services as it was not clear how it came about and it may lead to audit queries and greatly affect the city of Tshwane as a whole due to this unexplained and unauthorized expenditure. I also instructed Deputy Commissioner Spies to initiate a new control measure specifically related to the deployment of ad hoc guards and to launch an investigation in this regard that must lead to consequence management. This was duly implemented as seen by the email from Deputy Commissioner Spies, marked as Annexer YF7. As a result of this action, a new process was created wherein it would be required for any department that seeks any ad hoc security to complete an application form for motivation and commitment that their budget and their funding may be used after APSS conducted a security risk assessment that warrants the deployment of additional guards. It is a prerequisite for the form to be signed off by the respective requesting departments, group heads, and the cluster heads. I later learned from Deputy Commissioner Boles that the request for additional funding emanates from a message received from the Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Gareth Manisi, on the 25th of February 2025, as per the attached WhatsApp screenshot marked as Annexer YF8. It would seem that the rising costs largely emanated from the unauthorized and irregular deployment of ad hoc security services by Inspector A.L. Piri. He had no authority to issue such directives. Deputy Commissioner Spies has already come before the Commission and I believe he has provided the relevant context.
Commissioner, can you stop there? I want to get clarity from you because the email which you refer to as Y7 in your statement is on page 85 of the same bundle. And I could be wrong here, so you will correct me if I'm wrong. I had understood Commissioner Spice's evidence to be that when he sent this email, it was ignored, and his subordinate said to him, please put that in a formal letter, not in an email. If it's in an email, I'm not going to implement, and that's what caused issues, and he needed to be disciplined for that. Is that correct? Is that your understanding? Because your statement seems to suggest that the process was implemented and proof of that is this email. Whereas I had understood Commissioner Spice to be saying his email was ignored. And when he inquired why it was ignored, he was told by his subordinate that he has to put that instruction in a formal letter, not in an email. And the evidence leaders will assist me here. That's just my recollection of what the evidence was. If you remember it differently, you can tell us that you remember it differently.
Commissioner Kumalo, if a subordinate is giving him that, I'm expecting that he should have charged the subordinate for insubordination.
Yes. But what I don't expect is for you to come to the commission and say, this was duly implemented as seen in the email.
Commissioner, what I want to say is that Deputy Commissioner Spice, and I've seen this email now, Deputy Commissioner Spice, when I've given him the instruction, he started with it immediately. So I also now see here by YF7, it's the email of Deputy Commissioner Spice to the Deputy Director Malaxi. Are we on 84, Commissioner? YF7, am I correct?
Yes, Y7 is on page 85.
Commissioner, that's 85, this evidence here is remember he responded in an email to me and then that he's going to implement, I speak under correction, or it was implemented. This one that you are referring to now, Commissioner, in terms of that, I have not received that information that you have now given me in writing that is the case, Commissioner Kumalo.
Okay. If you don't have that information, then maybe it's fine. But that was my recollection of Commissioner Spice's evidence.
Understood, Commissioner Kumalo.
So it may be something that you need to follow up.
Yes, I will do that,
we
Commissioner.
cannot rely on your assurance if that assurance is not factual.
Now, definitely, Commissioner. And then I expect him, if a subordinate is telling him that he should have taken action against that subordinate, Commissioner. So I will.
I understood that he did eventually, but the initial reaction was that there was resistance to his email. So maybe we can leave that there for now.
But I will still follow up, Commissioner Kumalo, just for my own sanity. Thank you, Commissioner. I think I'm now by 49.
Sorry, while we are on the point, I think in the next section you deal with Inspector Phiri. So the question I'm going to ask is, those letters, when Commissioner Spice showed us the letters, there were at least two of them that were not signed by Commissioner Phiri. They were signed by one person or two other people.
Yes. Yes.
And I would need to know why action is only taken against Phiri and not those two other people. So if you can just anticipate that and maybe deal with it as well.
Yes, I can deal with it, Commissioner Romalo. Commissioner, as I said, we've launched the investigation. We are still busy with investigation. It's just now over this Easter period also. I've also wrote to the Commission requesting certain information as well to the Secretariat of the Commission, and I will follow up in that regard. But Commissioner, I can really assure you, it will not just be one person. Any person that's implicated even if it takes for us a day or two or a week or two to come to that, we will obviously make sure that if a person was involved in matters that they shouldn't have, as I said, consequence management will be implemented. I can promise you that.
Because even people who process the payments, remember there's the request to the security company for ad hoc services, and it comes from Inspector Piri. Now, when invoices come in and people process those payments, do they not care that Piri was not authorized to issue those instructions? Why do they authorize payments running into millions, tens, if not hundreds of millions, when the person who issued the ad hoc instructions was not authorized to do so?
Commissioner Kumalo, you're 100%. We know who processed it. We have the names of the people that from the whole food chain. I can guarantee you, we are busy with that investigation. We know exactly, I've requested through internal affairs the authorization. I requested who stamped it. I requested based on what. So yes, I can guarantee you, Commissioner Kumalo, we are busy. And then it is not the first or the second or the third person that we are dealing with. I promise you, we are really looking at it thoroughly. And as we look into it, Commissioner Kumalo, we also look into the process. It's no use we are dealing with the people that has done this, but the process we need to look at and we need to correct the process. So we are doing both of that, Commissioner Kumalo. I can promise you that.
Commissioner, can I think just to exploit the discussion about Piri, please turn to page 98 of the file you have in front of you, file 1.
98?
Correct. This is, as you suggest, part of the corrective measures. Correct?
Give me a minute. I'm reading now. That's correct.
Correct. Oh, let me wait for commissioners.
I have a different 98.
Apologies.
Okay, I'll give you my file when we finish and see what needs to be corrected. My 98 is a document that starts at page 96, and it's a memorandum, tenders to be advertised. Do you have the same, Commissioner?
No, Commissioner. Commissioner Baloy, I have the actually
I'll
the
share with the chair in the
suspension.
meantime.
Apologies, Commissioner Kumala. We'll resolve this issue. Thank you. You will see that.
I'm still Baloy.
Yeah.
Till further notice.
Apologies, commissioners. At page 98 is a letter signed by yourself, notice of intention to suspend Piri, correct?
That's correct.
And at the bottom there is your signature, correct?
That's correct.
All right. And we know that the emails about stopping ad hoc services or security services happened, or the concern rather, on 12 March 2025, correct?
That's correct.
Will you explain why it takes a year to discipline Piri?
Commissioners, allow me just to just explain. Remember, I've requested Commissioner Spies to investigate. Then I think by June 2025, he sent it to the internal cities car department, which then also responded that there is, in terms of what they've read, that he can be disciplined. Then we sent it to the Internal Affairs Department of TMPD to do a thorough investigation in that regard. In terms of the TMPD, they then couldn't get certain information because we do not have access to certain information. It was then sent to Deputy Commissioner Dlamini, I think 30th of July. And then Deputy Commissioner Dlamini obviously did not send that documents further, bearing in mind he's responsible for internal affairs. In the meantime, Deputy Commissioner Spies was meeting with the Hawks, as well as he briefed me other departments. He met with them July, August, September, and October. They were then busy with the process, obviously, to make sure that they get more evidence. For that moment, we did not want to disturb the process. Then Deputy Commissioner Spies followed up in terms of what happened to the document. And then obviously we've learned that Brigadier Danny Bernard did forward it to the head of that department, which is Deputy Commissioner Dlamini. And then we found out then, the documents was there by him. And then obviously upon finding that out, we put measures in place and then obviously the systems. And we made sure then that in terms of other information that also came to our attention, that we had then enough also to what I pre-suspension and then suspension in that regard. The investigation, we haven't received the feedback obviously from the Hawks back and the other department that was busy with a parallel investigation. However, the process has been started and we will now run with the process.
Advocate Kakan, just to be fair to Commissioner Faro, if you can go to file 8, this is what I was referring to. Commissioner Spies' statement starts on page 37 of that file.
Apologies, Commissioner, which page?
49.
49.
So his statement starts on 37.
Okay.
But if you go to page 12 of it, maybe on page 48. Are you there?
I am there.
You see the email he refers to is paragraph 41. That's the same email you were referring to. And then it continues. And then if you look at page 49 on paragraph 46, he says, during the following months, it was mentioned at monthly budget meetings that there were still payments of ad hoc guards as more invoices were submitted by one specific service provider, Gubis 85. I then issued a written instruction on 24 June 2025 to stop the deployment of ad hoc services and made clear that no more will be allowed beyond 1 July 2025. Do you see that? So it was not implemented in March. It was only implemented in July because he had been told that he can't do it by way of an email. There must be a written letter issued. So that's how the process unfolded.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. I will follow up on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. I'm going to press on this point a bit. And because these are the problems that we see. What we have is a serious issue of someone who essentially causes about 13 million loss. But it takes a year to actually take action against them. But it would mean that every time that he's at the office, apart from what you are able to find out, is a risk or he exposes the municipality or the TMPD. Would you accept that? And I'm not convinced of that there were these investigations for over a year, unless you can accept that it was truly an oversight of some sort on your part or Commissioner Spee's part. I cannot understand why it would take 12 months literally to discipline him for something so obvious.
I cannot accept that. I just explained that it is not that easy. It's a complex investigation. In terms of you need to look at the invoices, you need to make sure that you have all the evidence as well. The same with any investigation. If you're going to take the person, are you going to suspend the person and keep the person 12 months at home? The person is not in direct doing this or is not doing this anymore. So he doesn't have control over doing that. So I had to also make sure if we want to, that is departments that is investigating and watching, I had to make sure that we do that as well. So at the moment, as I said, that we feel that we have now, over and above even what we have more than to actually go ahead with the case as well. And as I said, we are still waiting on other departments, but we can't wait on them, rightfully so. If it's any criminal matter, we cannot wait for the criminal investigation to conclude in order for us not to do departmental. In terms of the one that I will agree with is the one in terms of that it was emailed already on the 30th of July to the head of the department. And there should have been more engagement from the head, although Deputy Commissioner Spies has done his part by following up on a monthly basis. He even engaged with the external investigators on a monthly basis. So I cannot accept that Deputy Commissioner Spies failed in that regard. However, I'm also looking at the time frame. I'm looking at the 30th of July that it was mailed to the head of that unit, and I'm also looking at the bigger picture. So the investigations, the more, it's the same like it's here, the more you touch one thing, another thing comes up. So the investigation is vast. And as I said, we've also, rightfully so, as the chairperson has said, we're also looking at other people in the food chain that was involved in this. It's not only the one person. So the more we investigate and we ask questions, the more names are popping up. So I'm requesting that we do the investigation. It is at a very sensitive point at this moment. And I'm even prepared to give the outcome and how far we came once we have now do the investigation into all the others as well, and also the consequence management.
I think, Commissioner, it seems that from the statement of Deputy Commissioner Spies, it does seem that there may have been speedy movement, because if you look at paragraph 47, Commissioner Kumalo referred you to 46. At 47,
Yes.
This is where Commissioner Spies says he received an email from Gubis.
Yes.
And then that was on the 26th of June, 25. And then if you read, and then in 48, he becomes aware that Piri is the one that issued those letters. And then you read on the steps that he took, and then you get to 52, paragraph 52.
Yes, I'm there.
And then it says, on 30 July,
Oh, that is nice.
internal audit completed the report. This is about a month later. And request to Deputy Dlamini, Umashi Dlamini.
Yes.
And it seems Deputy Commissioner Dlamini is the one that sat with the report from the 30th of July, the way I read this paragraph, until the 10th of March, 2026. Yes. Is that your understanding as well of what happened?
Thank you, Commissioner Baloy. That is the 30th of July that I referred to, that Brigadier Manares has forwarded to the head, which is you are 100% Deputy Chief Dlamini.
Yeah.
I'm also looking at that in that regard.
Yeah.
That is what I said, that allow me to investigate And the reason why, is it because with the person that we are supposed to discipline, that other things will come out? So allow me, because we are really advanced at the stage in this regard. I'm talking about the internal investigation, not the one with the external ones.
Yes.
So I'm asking, allow me just to complete. I am prepared to give the feedback in this regard. That is also one of the things I'm looking in, Commissioner Below. You are 100%.
Yes. Well, I was going to suggest that perhaps it is for Deputy Commissioner Dlamini, when he comes to testify, to explain to Mr. Skakane why from the 30th of July 2025 he sat with this report until the 10th of March 2026.
And immediately when I received it, on the very same day, I actioned it.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Mr.
Commissioner Below.
Thank you, Commissioner Valerie. Please proceed.
It would seem that the rising cost largely emanated from unauthorized. I think I've read that 48. Am I correct, Commissioners?
Please read it again.
You want me to read it again?
Yes.
Okay, I'll do that. It will seem that the rising costs largely emanated from unauthorized and irregular deployment of ad hoc security services by Inspector ALPD. He had no authority to issue such directives. Deputy Commissioner Spies has already come before the Commission, and I believe he has provided the relevant context. It is clear that the large beneficiary of the irregular deployment is an entity called Goobies 85 Security Solutions Pty Ltd, to the tune of about or almost 14 million rand. I was not particularly aware of the role of Deputy Commissioner Dlamini and Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Gerrit Menisi, in all of this. I took and trusted them as dedicated officials. I placed reliance on their advisors, and they had never given me any reason to doubt or suspect them. I must say I was taken aback by what came also out of this commission. Then if I can go to the aftermath.
Apologies, just to clarify, at 48, when did you learn that Mr. Piri was not allowed or authorized to issue the directives or notices of deployment?
He is not at this level. And
I'm saying, when did you understand that?
when did I understand?
That he's not authorized.
When the Deputy Commissioner Spies obviously has done his, and when he briefed me in terms of who has authorized this, and then I think it's also in his statement.
Okay, thank you. Please proceed.
Aftermath of stopping ad hoc services. Commissioners, I did touch on this, but I just wanted to read it into record as well. Upon my decision to stop the funds, I faced a smear campaign that questioned my qualifications and acceptance of a 45,000 rand voucher. I do not understand at that point.
450,000.
450,000 rand, yes, Commissioner. I did not understand at that moment, but in hindsight, I am of the opinion it stems from that decision of mine to stop the ad hoc deployment. I stood by my decision as I was doing it for the greater benefit of the city and TMPD. I'm referring to page 4, YF9. I later learned of the irregularities in the procurement and payment for the security services. Deputy Commissioner Spies has already come before the Commission, and I believe he has provided the relevant context. I have since taken measures to suspend Inspector A.L. Piri, who issued the further deployment letters as seen by Annexer YF10. In addition to this, consequent management is being implemented. Deputy Commissioner Dlamini is also currently on suspension. Allegations which derive from this commission are being thoroughly also investigated, and therefore I cannot elaborate further here in order to protect the integrity of these investigations, as I already alluded to. And this is not only from the commission, this is just added. There's also, as I said, what we discovered in terms of the investigation.
Now, why are you only looking at further deployment letters? why are you not auditing past deployment letters? Because it looks like your scope is narrow here. If you are only looking at somebody who issued further deployment letters, this suggests that those that were issued before the decision, you ignoring those.
We did not find any other than the two, but we are also looking historically, and we are looking at that with the internal affairs. They are looking at historically, and they're looking at, we want the scope to be as wide as possible, Commissioner Kumalo. Even if we must go back and really come to the bottom of this, we are really going back. Really, the information that we are requiring, some is difficult to acquire. However, we are not going to back down.
Because it looks
We are not
like,
going to back down.
It looks like there was no accountability, at least in terms of, as I understand it, the way these ad hoc deployments work. These were emergency services. So if you need emergency guarding services at a water plant or at a facility of the city, there would be these letters that are issued. But there doesn't seem to be any monitoring of service levels to determine whether what Gubis tells you. If Gubis says, for example, we employed 13 security guards at this reservoir, it doesn't seem like anybody checked that that was in fact the case, that it was in fact 13 guards at this price per guard. And I mean, this is public funds. People just approved invoices without checking service levels, without, enforcing if there were breaches of some of the service levels. There were no consequences because it looks like these companies continued providing services. In fact, to this day, they continue to provide services, just not additional ad hoc services.
Commissioner, if you go as far back, you will find that, yes. That is why I said the moment it was handed over, find out the complexity of this, put measures in place, that is ongoing. So you are correct. In the past, I couldn't find that there's a measure in place. In terms of checking up and making sure contracted services that where you deploy, you support, what you must have uniform, you must have this equipment. Are you there? Is it the right amount of staff? And then the level, is the A grade, B grade. That is one of the things that we also are checking to make sure surprise visits that at any given time the guards that is supposed to be in terms of the service level agreement are there, and penalty clauses must be implemented. The penalty clauses is very important. So if you found it is against the SLA, you need to activate the penalty clause that is in the SLA. So Commissioner Kumali, you are correct. Those were some of the things that we found that was lagging and that we correcting in terms of moving forward.
Thank you. Just before we move to the next section, you are saying that you are still investigating all of these things internally, correct?
Correct.
And obviously, it would seem that until such time you finish the investigation, you wouldn't know how far the road goes, if you were to call it a road. Correct?
It is not such a big section.
Okay.
It's not a big section that is dealing with the matter. So
the investigations are going to be concluded?
definitely. It's not a big section. So we, in the meantime, has put measures in place also mitigating. And we're not waiting for the investigation to be concluded. So we are busy also putting as I said, it runs parallel, but it's not a big section. And we know exactly who, and then we are really at the end of this investigation in terms of bringing the others to book as well.
Thank you. Commissioners, I think it's for just so that we follow the correspondence around the stoppage of these ad hoc services, so that we, just in the interest of time, can I refer you to file 3? Chief,
Yes, I have it.
will help you. Okay.
I've got it. Right.
Page, Mr. Skatani.
Page 337
337.
330, all right at the beginning.
at the beginning. You go, I think, with the sequence of emails. You go to 343.
Is it file 3
File 3, yes.
on page?
343, or starting from 342 at the bottom,
I'm starting by 657.
657,
Yes.
file 3.
So, yeah.
Yes.
Mine is at 657. On the sabotage. 657, no, it's not a question.
It's file 3, Commissioners. 342 at the bottom, there's an email. Commissioner Faro, are you there?
35342?
342 at the bottom.
Yes, I'm there.
I'm just trying to make sure we all follow. So this is the email from Umashi Dlamini to Commissioner Rivers Peace, copying amongst others yourself, Deputy Commissioner Boles, and somewhere in the bottom, Chubudu Malachi. And then in that email, this is where he's asking essentially that there must be more funding.
Yes.
And he explains that there's an increased usage of ad hoc services. And then at page 342, the response from Commissioner Spees is to ask 3 minutes later who approved or mandated the ad hoc services. Correct?
That's correct.
Correct. And you were still copied in that. There's absolutely no trick with what I'm doing. It's just so that we follow that discussion we were having, because I think we got broken somehow in understanding the sequence. At page 341, that's at the bottom, that's your email. Can I take it COP means Chief of Police?
Commissioner of Police.
Okay. Commissioner of Police. At the bottom, you then write to Umashi Dlamini and Commissioner Spees, and you say, you express shock about that there's 30 additional sites just for January. And you ask who approved this, and you ask Commissioner Boles. Can you just maybe explain that to us, perhaps in the understanding of ad hoc sites as the debate has been had?
You want me to explain the email?
Correct, your shock
Okay.
around this thing so that we just follow as we go.
It took me 7 minutes to respond to this email, what I read in the 2 emails. I've then wanted to know the 30 additional sites only for January 2025. I see there's 4 exclamation marks. And then who approved this? The reason why I said Deputy Commissioner Boles, remember, he was still January and February overseeing APSS. Deputy Commissioner Spies only started 1st of March. Then I wanted to know, did he approve it, DC Boles? Then I said, I'm not signing off any documentation or requesting additional funds. That moment I was in Mako and I said, I'm currently in Mako. I'm not going to entertain this. DC Spies, please launch investigation in this regard because he was appointed the first, this is 11 days after he was appointed. Then I also then again responded, added to the below email, this behavior must stop as it will cause audit queries which will not only affect the department but the COT as a whole. I'm not going to request additional budget for unauthorized ad hoc sites. I will request an investigation and consequence management. 2 reports must be drafted. 1, and that is obviously after the authorized ad hoc sites and then also the unauthorized. The authorized ones are easy because we are aware of it. Then I again, a few minutes after that, sent another mail to say, Deputy Commissioners, please stop any ad hoc deployment until the correct procedure determined by you have been implemented, bearing in mind there is no additional funding already. Then I actually, Commissioner Kumalo, I actually referred to this email. And further to the ad hoc C deployment, that is a response from Revo Spies, obviously to Malatsi. Cease deployment if guards, stop the deployment of all ad hoc guards as with effect tomorrow morning. That is why this was actually the email that I referred to Commissioner Kumalo, where he then immediately, you see that is on the 12th, just a few minutes after I sent the email, actually 4 minutes that he actually gave that instruction. The one that, Commissioner, that you alluded to, that he gave him that lip, I was not aware of that because that will be between him and his immediate Deputy Commissioner. But as I said, I want to look into that as well.
So that formal letter is on 347.
Yes, Commissioner.
And the point was that the 12 March email was ignored. So Malachi ignored it, did not implement it. Reasons were given that it can be in an email, it has to be in a formal letter, and that formal letter you see followed 3 months later.
Yeah.
3.5 months later, and it's on page 347.
I do see that, Commissioner, and as I said, I want to look into that as well. Thank you, Commissioner.
Perhaps it would be unfair to ask you, it should have been an issue that Commissioner Spies would have explained.
Yes.
If you say immediate,
Yes.
why does it take
Yes.
another 2-3
No, I'm
months
going to look into that, definitely.
to then action that?
Yes.
Because these are the things we just say it's going to take time.
Yes.
And then I think Commissioner Kumar was saying then, it's public funds that are being
Yes.
used.
Oh, definitely.
Correct.
I do agree.
Jessica, we've learned in this commission that immediately does not mean immediately.
At least, Commissioner, my immediate is immediate. But be rest assured, I'm going to look into all of this because that was my instruction to everyone. I will look into that, definitely. I expect if I give instruction, everybody must follow it.
Thank you. Commissioner Kumar, I was restraining myself from highlighting immediately. And then if you go to page 338.
Still the same file?
Same file, yes. This is just the last point.
Let's give the page again.
338.
338. And then?
Now, this is what comes under cover this email, correct?
Yes, yes.
And when you see it, and apologies for jumping around. When you see it, you see two things. What you see is that this is in January, so it's
Yes.
a low.
Yes.
You've got Trautic Protection Services that has ad hoc sites.
Yes.
Then we have Mohalahadi Security.
Yes.
And then we've got Gubis 85 Solutions Security,
That's correct.
which has sites, according to this, up to 37,
That's correct.
which total 14 million. And obviously, we understand that there would have been 22 companies or
Yes.
service providers. Just at the time, did it strike you that Gubis seems to have been this efficient or favored?
That is part of the investigation.
No, I'm saying at the time.
Yeah, definitely when I saw it, definitely. Definitely.
And then just to follow up with the investigation, how would it cover whether actually the invoices or the actual deployments, if they say they had 2 guards, how would we know that they actually had 2 guards, or they just did not have anyone else?
Exactly.
Is that part of your
That is
investigation?
definitely part of my investigation. To, as I said, what is the reasoning for 20 additional? So we are looking at it. What is the reasoning for that? Where were they? Attendance, everything we're looking into. We're definitely looking into all of those.
And so, would I then be correct, or maybe I'm wrong, to say that previously there wasn't a method to double check that, perhaps, or it was?
They have the personnel that must do that checks.
Also, there are people.
Yeah,
that need to check.
there is people that must do the checks. Contract services that must do the checks to see. Does it, as I said, also ad hoc, let me not use ad hoc, surprise visit, just to see also in terms of, I've explained it in terms of the SLA, you must have the SLA with you. The SLA is very detailed. To see if you are in uniform, the equipment that you must have, the type of guard that you must have, also the amount of guards that you must have there. Because we are aware that you must maybe have 5, but then you deploy 2. So we are aware of that. So you have that component that must check on that.
Okay.
Yes.
No, thanks.
Second, before you leave this page, Commissioner Faro, just so that it doesn't look like this commission is picking on Gubi's security for whatever reason. I can't remember where I read this, and you don't have to give us a detailed answer now, but I just need clarity on the 3 entities that we see on page 338. Are you also investigating whether or not any of those entities are owned by city officials?
We're looking at everything, Commissioner Kumalo.
Because in one of the documents I have seen, I cannot remember which one, there was an allegation made that the first one there, Triotic, is owned by city officials, as in City of Tshwane officials. That may or may not be true, but my question is simply whether you are investigating that as well.
And then, Commissioner, we will do our investigation in terms of obviously the allocation, etc. When the CFO comes, in terms, they have all the information of that security company. I would prefer that you also pose that question to the CFO. I would really prefer that. But in terms of our investigation, we're obviously looking also at you have the 22 companies, and then we look at the how regular and how many, and then that will also be part of our questions, definitely.
Thank you.
Definitely, Commissioner Kumalo.
I thought Commissioner Kumalo was asking, does your investigation include investigating ownership of these companies that are on your panel?
Obviously, we are looking into all of that because we, as you said, I've read in the supply chain management policy when I started, and it says you must not, one of it says that you must not, conflict of interest must be. So we're taking the supply chain management policy and see, was there any contravention also from the site, and so that we can have a more detailed type of investigation. As I said, we don't want to, we are not only zooming in, if we are one by one now consequence management, it doesn't mean we are just dealing with a one person. We have to now start from A and end at Z. We have to get it right. So yes, Commissioner Baloy, we are looking into every single thing. I can promise you that.
Just to assist Commissioner Kumalo, I think it has been in the media. If I may refer you, just out of interest, on that chaotic, yes, that's file 6,
Bundle 6.
page 548. It's part of the chats that was shared.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you. On 549, that's, yeah.
Yes, that's what I just wanted to locate your understanding, perhaps. I didn't intend to at least go through this at this point in time. Thank you.
Yes.
Please put that file away. Yes.
Yes. It's on the screen.
Okay. Could you please then continue from page 55 of your statement?
So we'll put away file 3.
I will then continue with TMPD 01 2024/2025 land invasion. Tender TMPD 01 2024/2025 relates to the procurement of services for the monitoring and prevention of illegal land and building occupation, as well as the demolition of any illegal structures. The appointment will be for 3 years on an as and when required basis, meaning only when there is land invasion. So you will, and then those that must patrol to prevent the land invasion, it will obviously be the hotspots. I attach a copy of the invitation to the bid marked as YF11. The tender advertisement request, we call it a TAR or TAR, was signed off by me on the 27th of May 2024. I then appointed Brigadier Sipho Sebastian Nkomo and Brigadier J. Mabunda as the departmental representatives at the Bid Evaluation Committee, BAC. The reason why I appointed Brigadier Nkomo, he was that time acting Deputy Commissioner of Specialized Services. And Brigadier Mabunda is the head of land invasion.
Commissioner Faro, you're confusing me now. When I asked you this earlier, you said only the city manager can make these appointments. Now you are saying to us, I appointed these people as representatives to the BEC.
This is in terms of the TAR.
But what's the difference?
The TAR is the tender advertisement request this is one page that I sign off. So in terms of this, it should be the city manager, yes.
You are confusing me. Who appoints members of the BEC? Remember, that was my earlier question, and you said no, it can't be you or the CFO, it's the city manager. Does this not suggest that you appointed? Or does it mean nominate?
Nominate.
You nominate and then the city manager appoints
Nominate.
or approves?
Commissioner Kumalo, nominate.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner. The tender procurement process, I will just correct there, Commissioner Kumalo. The tender procurement process was successfully concluded and ultimately 8 bidders were awarded a tender. Then the tender process was also subjected to probity. Probity review is done by group audit and risk. They check that the process was followed correctly in appointing these 8 companies. I do not know how the tender was evaluated. However, Brigadier Sipo Nkomo will then also come before this committee so that he can just also put it more into context. He will only be giving evidence in terms of that entire process. I do not know how the tender was evaluated, and he will also assist, he assisted with technical expertise on behalf of TMPD. And he will be able to give more context in this regard once he appears before the Commission. Concluding remarks. In conclusion, I wish to reiterate that my tenure as Commissioner of the TMPD has been guided by a steadfast commitment to the principles of integrity, as well as transparency and the rule of law. Since my appointment, I have endeavored to ensure that the TMPD operates not only as an efficient and effective law enforcement agency, but also as a responsible organ of state that adheres strictly to the procurement frameworks set out in the Constitution and the MFMA. I have a specific duty to report corruption under Section 34 of the Prevention and Combating of Corrupt Activities Act 2004. And I'm not only doing it because if I fail, it could result in a 10-year prison sentence. I do it because that is the right thing to do. The Independent Police Investigative Directorate, also known as IPID, in terms of the IPID Act 2011, is broader. Section 29 requires all SAPS members and commissioners, we are appointed under the SAPS Act 68 of 1995, to notify IPID immediately after becoming aware of graft or other cases falling within IPID's mandate. Contraventions carry also up to 2 years imprisonment.
Have you reported any matters to IPID?
We're going to do that, Commissioner, I promise you. As I said, our investigation, we already reported to other organs of state, as I said. We are going to, when the investigation is eventually concluded, we are going to make sure any contravention that was there in terms of any law act, we will report it and report it to the national organ of state. What we've picked up, Commissioner, is if you start charging people, they resign and then they just go to somewhere else. And then everybody just leave the case and nothing comes of it because the person has left the employ of whatever municipality. We are not going to allow that. We will still pursue any other contravention and any act. That is what I've given to my investigating head to do. That is now acting Deputy Commissioner Danny Manar.
Yes, I think my question is more general than specific. I think in your testimony earlier in the day, you said that you've had cases of members of TMPD being arrested for different things. And one of the examples you gave was bribery, for example. And so my question, it being general, is do you have any cases, not necessarily arising from these procurement matters that we are concerned with now, but do you have any pending matters that have been reported to IPID and that IPID is handling in respect of the TMPD?
Definitely, Commissioner. We also have a quarterly meeting with IPID.
Yes.
And as I didn't actually answer Commissioner Khumalo when you asked, do we implement the recommendations? Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
You offered to deal with it in a supplement.
But I just wanted to say, yes, all the recommendations coming from IPID, I also get the reports, and I make sure that is one of the things that I monitor to make sure that we implement it. So
And
yes,
I'm assuming in your supplementary, you can give us the statistics.
I'll do that, definitely.
You can say, for example, over the past 3 years,
Definitely.
there were this number of IPID recommendations. All of them were implemented. Those that were not implemented,
Definitely.
what's the reason?
May I correct you, Commissioner Khumalo? Can I have it from the 1st of October 2023? That was under my...
Yes.
Thank you
I
so
think
much,
that's
Commissioner
fair. Thank
Khumalo. You are so kind. Thank you.
Commissioner, you rightly point out or lament
Yes.
that people resign.
Yes.
And then that's the end of that matter. But isn't the solution to that matters must be reported to the SAPS?
Definitely.
As I've understood it, with Ekurhuleni, in respect of Ekurhuleni in similar cases, it's that complaints, and I think Commissioner Spies, as he then was,
Yes.
referred matters to the SAPS. And then those matters were then referred to IPID. From the SAPS, they go to IPID. Isn't that what should be the practice, in fact, the way to circumvent people escaping criminal prosecution or consequences for what is effectively criminal conduct, that complaints should be lodged with the SAPS? And that way a person resigns, they get out of the clause of the IPID, but they remain under police jurisdiction. Have you considered?
You are 100% Commissioner Baloy. As I alluded when I did my background, I'm also the chair of the National Commissioners Forum of the country. We even took that matter up at the national level. We don't only want it to happen at TMPD. What we also do, we deregister you as a Metro Police officer or more a traffic officer, so that you can't also jump to go from one department. And we're also looking at the database that we can also share that information. So you are correct. And also we said we don't want to wait on the South African Police Service and IPID or whoever is investigating to give us a feedback. We need to follow up. And if we see that it stays too long with a person, you can follow up with a senior. We need to start following up and not leave it and say, I'm waiting on IPID, I'm waiting on the South African Police Service. We need to trace our case numbers, and we need to trace our cases that we report. So that is what we as the commissioners of the country also want to busy with actually, and we're looking at standardizing it on a national level. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. Now, paragraph 61. In my commitment, I have taken proactive steps, including the instruction of new control measures to mitigate the risk of irregular expenditure and to safeguard the city's resources. Given what I've learned, I believe it is important that we continue to pay close attention to procurement processes and internal interferences in the manipulation on ongoing process within the TMPD. That must also be done without interference from the person that maybe wants to claim I'm monitoring, but then you interfere as well. I remain fully committed to assisting this commission in its mandate. I hope that the information and documentation provided in the statement, supplemented by the testimonies of deputy commissioners and officials I have designated, and the supplementary homework that I've received, I'm just adding that, Commissioner Khumalo, my homework that I received will provide the necessary clarity on the matters under inquiry. I would also like to highlight to the Commission to assist in protecting those that expose fraud and corruption and any form of irregularities because of what I have experienced. One becomes a target as soon as you expose corrupt activities. And I'm sure after I've appeared in front of this commission, it will not stop. However, commissioners, I will do this over and over again. I would also want to make use of this opportunity to thank the commissioners and all the evidence leaders and everyone behind the scenes. If it was so much intense for me in terms of making sure that you give your statement is there and your evidence and making sure you meet regularly with the evidence leader, I really can not even imagine how much it be for the commissioners that sits here on a daily basis. I really want from my side to thank you for what you are doing for the country and for the province of Gauteng. And I wish that this can be rolled out after Gauteng to all the municipalities within the borders of South Africa. Thank you, commissioners, for the opportunity that I could have be a witness in front of this commission and also have given some clarity and also some information in terms of what was in the statement and then also the evidence that was attached. Thank you, commissioners.
Mr. Sakane?
Thank you. I think we might have missed the boat, but I think we had started with that. We'll let Commissioner Faro go through her statements and then be not as interruptive, but I think we took some time interrupting her. In the interest of time, there are areas that I would like to probe with her. I will not go to too much detail in the interest of time.
Commissioner, thank you for your remarks. I just want to say that what is bothersome is that in many instances, starting with Eguruleni, SAPS, and now Tswane, there has been a lot of movement by the institutions concerned, the action being taken against officials. But what's bothersome about that is that, but for what has been divulged at this commission, it seems that it would have been business as usual. That is quite bothersome. I'm not necessarily directing this at you, but at the institutions concerned. And we are talking this is only SAPS, Eguruleni, and SAPS, only at the top level, at the level of generals. Yes, there may be an odd brigadier and so on here and there. So that's a very small window, if I may call it that, both at SAPS and also nationally in terms of only Eguruleni, only Tswane. So it's quite bothersome because these institutions cannot possibly be outliers. One believes that what we see is replicated throughout the country. That's quite bothersome. But thank you. Yes, Mrs. Kakane.
Mrs. Kakane, sorry, we kept interrupting, so I've almost exhausted all my questions. I only have one. So if you indulge me, I will ask it now and then allow you the rest of the afternoon to deal with what you wanted to deal with.
Commissioner, please feel free, even if you have 2, 3, 4.
Commissioner Faro, my concern was with the asset protection and security services. You, in your statement, had set out what the mandate of a metro police is. And you referred to Section 64 and the alphabetical letters B, C that follow. And I did not see anywhere in those sections where it falls within a mandate of a metro police to be responsible for protection of municipal property. And I think you rightly said that the owner, the person who's accountable for these properties, is actually the COO. Is it right that the Metro Police should be responsible for this? And what has been your experience when you were at, I think you were at Nelson Mandela Bay and then City of Cape Town at some point? Is it the same in those municipalities that the Metro Police Department is responsible for this function of asset protection and security services? Or is the position different there?
Thank you, Commissioner Kumalo. It does not fall under the Metro Police, Commissioner Kumalo. It falls under, it is a leg on its own in Nelson Mandela Bay under safety and security. The same within the City of Cape Town. City of Cape Town also has got Metro Police, they've got traffic services, they've got law enforcement, they've got VIP services. So Metro Police does not fall under Metro Police also in the City of Cape Town.
So it seems like Tshwane is confused because you corrected yourself and said it was not an insourcing. It was almost a parallel movement from one section within City of Tshwane to another. Even Tshwane is confused because they're not quite sure where this department or this section or this function should fall. I mean, is that not a problem? Because I'm not sure that the Metro Police are qualified, and I could be wrong. I'm not sure that they are qualified to deal with this department because their function is really by law enforcement and assisting with crime prevention and all those things that you have mentioned. Now, to be dishing out tenders where you're spending billions of rands, I think the amount we had was 2.9 billion the other day. I mean, it's a serious concern to me because I don't know that the Metro Police are qualified to be dealing with those things.
Commissioner, I'm the city manager, the accounting officer gave me the letter, 1st of July 2024, and he says, asset IPSS is with you now. I believe when there was, remember when we established Metro Police all over the country? Like in Cape Town, they took traffic services, law enforcement services, and they made it a Metro Police with all the others. The same happened here when they had to start the Metro Police in 2002. So whatever departments you had that was more like a law enforcement safety, it was under there. That's why originally when they did start the Metro Police, APSS was part of Metro Police 2002. And then, as I said, 2021, April, it was moved away via a memo from the then Executive Mayor, Randall Williams. And then the 1st of July 2024, it came back to Metro Police. Should it be with Metro Police? Commissioner Kumalo, you're going to get me into trouble. I would say if you protect maybe the assets of the city, who is the owner of the assets of the city? So it must either be with the COO, who's got the infrastructure, whether it is the reservoirs or where it is the electrical substations, or the GSO, who is responsible for all the buildings of the municipality. So
I'm saying because here's the thing. When you do eventually insource all the security guards, if you do, let me not say when, if you do eventually insource all the security guards, they won't become Metro Police officers because they are not appointed in terms of the SAPS Act.
yes,
So they will become employees of the city of Tshwane, and they will become security guards working for Tshwane. TMPD can be responsible for them. So that's why I don't understand why that function, because it is outsourced, TMPD is responsible for it. But if it were insourced, those people would not be TMPD officers, and they would therefore be employees falling under a different department. But I mean, maybe the CFO is better placed to answer some of these questions. I was just posing it to hear your view. And if you don't want to get into trouble and you prefer not to answer,
I'm a person
Chair is
that will
happy
answer.
Chair is happy that we allow you to say. I will leave it for the CFO.
Unfortunately, I have to be honest, Commissioner Kumalo, and that was my honest opinion. Because Commissioner, you are correct. If you look at who is the owner, if you look at anybody's property, Metro Police is not looking after you. You've got your own security company. So you as the owner of that house, the state is not going to put a policeman outside your house or a Metro Police officer. You as the owner of the house must make sure that you have even security measures in place, whether it's a camera, whether it's, you must make sure you've got a fence around your house, and then you must make sure that maybe a security company will respond if you press a panic button. So that is logical thinking, and you are correct, Commissioner Kumalo.
Thank you, Mr. Skakan.
Before you go, Commissioner, in the very last paragraph of your statement where you speak about protection of whistleblowers effectively, you're expressing something similar to what Deputy Commissioner Spies expressed in his experience. My question is, does the city have any measures or anything in place that protects, or that seeks at least to provide protection to people who want to speak to whistleblowers? And if the city has, what in fact does it have in place?
The city is allowing you to, obviously, if there is information that you want to come forward, that you can do that, whether it is through the group audit and risk, whether it is through the office of the city manager. The city do have measures in place. What I'm really referring to, Commissioner, is that if I take Deputy Commissioner Spies, his remarks that he's a spy and there's silly remarks that is being made, where I think you should applaud people that come forward to actually are not part of the pack and wants to make sure that we do the things the right way. Commissioner, Chairperson, I said I'm gonna say something on a lighter note. When I leave here, Chairperson Madlanga, you will have to pay Lebola because my surname is going to change to Commissioner Madlanga wherever I enter. The Faro is gone when I walk out of here. I will send my family over. So that is Commissioner Spies, that is his name. Madlanga. There's no Spies anymore. And I actually find it, yes, we can laugh about it. However, I actually feel if you in this country come forward against fraud and corruption, why are you becoming the target? People don't want to be around you. People feel like, what are you doing? You're supposed to come to work to do your work and to do it the right way in terms of all the policies and procedures that are there. However, the moment you speak out or you are a person that makes sure that you stop, as I said, when I stopped that ADHOC, immediately, there was things fabricated.
I'm asking the question to establish whether the system, I'm asking about the system, whether the city has a system in place which allows people, for example, to speak confidentially without fear that what they say will soon be told back to whoever they were telling about. That's what I'm trying to figure out. But what you're explaining as requiring protection from is, it seems to me that that's more a cultural issue of an organization, even country, that we have that problem. People, even when you've got the mechanisms in place, eventually people will come to know you're going to testify in court and they're going to ostracize you. And those kind of things seem to require some cultural changes. That's not the kind of question I'm asking. I'm asking in terms of systems in place. For example, if Deputy Commissioner Spies is being harassed, or you even, because you have taken the kind of steps and decisions that you have taken in the discharge of your functions, does the city have in place things like such employees will be disciplined, for example? If you harass me because I'm doing my job and have stopped you from spending money and I've actually started disciplinary processes against you, does the city have a system and a culture where action can be taken against those people to discourage that kind of behavior? Because there's a level at which it's behavior and cultures that have developed over time and something has to be done to stop it. But that's a different conversation to, is there anything in place at all? Or we don't have anything in place that allow people to act without fear, with some kind of protection. It may not be perfect, but there are ways I can go anonymously to report the chief financial officer for having instructed that purchase orders must be created long after the service had been provided. Is there anything like that in the city? Is really what I'm trying to determine.
I think we have something in place. We've got a fraud line. We have, but I think, Commissioner, because we have never had a type of a commission of inquiry, it needs to be refined to include also when it comes to appear in front of a commission. I think it's just, as you said, it's maybe standard. However, we need to make sure that we look into that, and maybe not only in municipalities, but all government establishments and departments, to make sure, the same it was with COVID. We never knew COVID. And then we had to put things in place in terms of COVID. We never knew wearing masks and all of that. So the same thing, the commission is a very good thing of inquiry. And I think whatever policies we have or directives we have, of SOPs we have, we need to refine it now around that. That is even part of mine at my department that I'm going to work with as part of my workshop, that I want to include it so people can feel free. But then it needs to be in each and every department. It maybe comes from also, as I said, we need to refine it and include it. And then we must make sure that there is, I'm maybe lucky that I have my detail with me because of the post that I have. However, it's not everybody that's got the detail because of the post that they have. And we maybe need to look at that and then also make it easier for people, much, much more easier to report, and that also there's going to be consequence management. Because it's no use you report and that person stay in the government environment or in the municipality, and that person is even aware confidentiality is also very important, and that person is aware you are the person that came forward. So all of that we will have to maybe refine it a little bit to make sure we include the commission as well, and then also what we experience practically, and maybe make that also part of outcome, Commissioner Baloyi. I think that will help a lot. Thank you, Commissioner Baloyi.
The second is a clarification on something that we dealt with earlier, but maybe before I do that, let me conclude this part by saying you have, for example, under the Commissions Act, where it's a criminal offense to interfere with the work of the commission.
100%.
So if someone has testified or is about to testify, is being harassed in whatever way, the perpetrator may well easily fall into, you are interfering with the work of the commission. And it may well be that in the city or in the forum of police chiefs, you may want to start that kind of discussion. But the second thing that I wanted to raise is, and it's more to clarify, in the correction that you made, remember we had that discussion about insourcing
Yes.
and just moving people
Yes.
across.
Yes,
And I accept the correction that you have made. But does it mean, therefore, that Tshwane has never done an insourcing exercise?
The 1,271 was in-sort or capacity built in 2019. So that's why we have the outsource. And the 1,271 was in-source.
Okay.
However, as I said, it was in-source, but they did not include or make sure that there's a plan, and we did it now. Let us train them. Let us make sure they have medical aid.
Yes.
Let's make sure they've got pension. Those things were not, so they were in-sourced, but they failed to implement that.
That plan. Okay.
So that is also what I was busy with now all the time. And we picked that up and we made sure that over the 3-year period, first you get your medical aid. They also didn't get a 13 check. So all those things we had to actually make sure that that in-source staff or the capacity builds, in-house capacity, that we make sure we correct that before we can even in-house capacity build more. Let us first correct that.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Commissioner Baloy.
Thank you, Mrs.
Thank you, Commissioners, and thank you, Commissioner Faro. I will try to just highlight a few points and ask when necessary for you to assist us back to your statement. You've spoken about your duties or roles and functions, and part of it is that you bear the ultimate responsibility for the TMPD.
Yes, that's correct.
And part of that also goes to recruitment, appointments, promotion, transfer of members. And part of that also includes managing discipline.
That's correct.
Correct. Would you, you've spoken to us or testified that you are engaged in in corrective measures for those members that you have since discovered that there was something wrong.
That's correct.
And that would be Mr. Phiri, and there's further investigations into other
that's
things.
correct.
And hopefully, I think you can agree with me where I was having a difficulty that in order for these things to happen, they do need to move with some speed, otherwise they become problematic.
Yes, definitely when it's, except when there's a complexity of our data, but definitely you are correct. And that is what I do with all my investigations. This is just a little bit different.
Indeed.
You are correct.
And then in terms of your deputy commissioner, the one that's vacant, how long you said it's been a while. What are the plans about?
We have now started the process again. Yes, we have already started the process.
Okay.
It's just now the holidays that came in between, but definitely. But I want to put it on record. If I, again, don't find the right person, I will have to re-advertise again. I'm not just going to appoint somebody for the sake of appointing.
Thank you. And also, I think we've gone too many things. My job is truly to lead evidence more than have views. Can we go to the file 3? I'm just dealing with the part of the evidence. I apologize that I just at least have to put on record.
I think it's there. Okay. Thank you. I've got it.
Page 382.
Got it. Okay.
Thank you.
I'm there.
Thank you. You see this and identified that Mr. Piri signed these notices and that he was not authorized.
Yes.
And I suspect, and earlier on, you said the same thing.
I agree.
And then these deployments go up to page up to page
424.
Correct. And in the majority, they are signed by Mr. P.
Yes, that's correct.
Perhaps to avoid at the risk of speculation, would you know why he would be the one that's signing? What are the possibilities for signing these deployments? Or maybe let me put it this way, in terms of his level, where is he and who does he report to? And as far as you know, could this happen properly?
Obviously, this is not, I've already said previously, this is what we picked up and it's caused an investigation. And then we found obviously that this is also stemming from the email that was sent to say that is on the 12th of March. This is part of that investigation.
Correct.
And that is part of that evidence.
Correct.
That these sites, so it's stemming from there. And obviously, if he is today on suspension, and then there's a investigation still, more investigation pending. Clearly, that this is not what should have been done.
And who does he report to?
As I said, there is other members that we also looked at, and we must also remember, I said previously, IPSS doesn't have a proper command and control system in place.
Yes.
Yes. So, yes, we are looking at everybody, even the person that is reporting to, in terms of this. We are also looking at the time, because remember, he was transferred also, he was also at, although he's a Metro Police officer, he was, or he is assisting, or was assisting at APSS. With this movement and everything, movement of staff from one management to another, I will call it.
Then what you're saying, he is in TMPD.
He was a TMPD officer, but with the movement, Commissioner Beloy, they've moved the staff. Staff had a choice if you want to move with to the office of the city manager to obviously assist, because you can't leave a vacuum.
Yeah.
So some remained behind when that was maybe assisting and said, they had a choice. I will remain. Others went with. So there is where Piri's involvement came in terms of Inspector Piri of IPSS. So he was then part of assisting there by IPSS.
Yeah. I thought I understood the structure as you're explaining it, but now I'm confused. Initially, they were moved to the city manager's office.
Yes, 100%.
Okay. And then returned now to
back to TMPD.
TMPD.
Yes, 100%.
So where is he sitting now? At the date of page 382, which is the 15th of January 2025 period. 14
that
January.
He was back at Metro Police, because remember 1st of July 2024?
Yes.
They moved back. So
he's in TMPD
yes,
at the time as he issues
100%.
These instructions. And he reports to somebody. Who does he report to?
He
must report to somebody.
No, definitely he's reporting to somebody.
Yes.
I must just double check, but that's why I don't want to. I want to give names here if I'm not 150% sure who does he report to because of the back and forth and back and forth. So I will.
The overall head, where he's sitting.
Oh, the overall
is
head.
Lamini the overall head?
No.
Who is the overall?
The overall head will be Deputy Commissioner Spies.
Where
As the
Spies
deputy,
is now?
yes.
Okay, all right. But at January 2025,
That was Deputy Commissioner
Paul Hayes.
Son Boles.
It was Bolays at the time. Okay. So at January 2025, his ultimate head would have been Bolays at that time.
That's correct, Commissioner.
Okay.
Thank
Thank you.
That's correct.
All right. Thank you.
My apologies for confusing you.
Just for while we are on this, the other person I was talking about is on 399 and 400. So you'll see that for those two purchase orders.
So again, the number.
Page 399 and 400.
I'm there.
So those are the two during that period
Oh, okay.
that were not signed by hearing.
Yes.
And my question was,
This is one of the persons that we
why was
identified.
that person
100%.
not suspended?
Yes, no, we
if
are.
the investigation has
Yes,
revealed
that is the
he issued.
100%. You are correct. You are correct. We are looking at actually if we can't find actually more. If you look at the first one, there was a little bit of a stack. So this one we're also checking, and also I said the person that we also said in terms of the invoices, and did you check is it according to the standards, and why is it supposed to be done? So yes, that is part of the food chain. You are correct.
So this Dr. Mandishab is a senior superintendent. Does he also, I don't know whether it's a he or she, do they report to?
Also, yes.
Police.
To police that time,
Yes.
and now to Spies. That
Now
is
to
correct.
Spies.
That is correct.
And you're saying that obviously there's there's some reasoning why
Yes.
he's not placed on
Yes.
suspension.
Yes. There's a reason to that.
That's that. Then I think the next section, which I'm going to run through very quickly, in the interest of time as well, is what has happened in your department. And for that, could you please take file 5? Now, this is a file containing WhatsApp chats, and I think you may be familiar with them. And in the commission, when Sergeant Kosi came to testify.
If you take me to the page.
I'll take you to it, but I'm just saying I'm telling you what this is
Yes.
about.
That's fine.
And I understand you may be at a disadvantage in the sense that these are not your WhatsApps, but I just want to highlight a few things for you. Then we'll go to the other issues. One is that what we see in these chats generally is that there is a close relationship between the CFO, that's Mr. Mnisi, and Mr. Nkosi, Sergeant Nkosi. And if we look at it, they call each other bras, they go to the shooting range. They seem to have a very cozy and very close relationship between the two of them. I don't want to take you through to each WhatsApp, but just accept that's what I'm saying. As an example, if you go to page 10 of that file,
And they?
They talk about where are you, my brother, and they refer to, okay, my bro, we can meet tomorrow. And there are quite regular meetings between the two of them. That's the first point that just in the interest of time. But also they share a lot of documents that are internal within the city. I'm going to go through that document now. If you go to page 65,
And they?
at page 65, you'll see it's a screenshot, and I don't want you to engage with the contents. But essentially, this is a screenshot of a text of an email that is drafted by Nisi, and is forwarded to Sergeant Kosi. You see that? And also, he has a message underneath that says, please read and confirm if all is in good order before I send. That would read to me that he's asking for Kosi's permission about sending a message in an official capacity. Then another example of this brotherhood is at page 96.
And they?
And then just below the mid section, Sergeant Kosi, take it for granted that that's his number, zero tolerance. He says, compliments my brother. Indeed, in you, I found a true brother. You see this coziness between the two.
I do.
Then if you then turn to the following page, at page 99, that's the CFO sending a tender advert to Mr. Nkosi. And then he advises him and says, Mfetu, I have sent the above to Peggy. We need to regroup on it. Now, I accept that you're not the person that wrote that message, but what it does suggest is that, rightly or wrongly, the CFO is sending an internal advert, as it were, to Sergeant Nkosi. And it seems that they say we need to regroup on it, meaning there is some coordinated effort of some sort. Correct?
Yes.
That's how it reads anyway.
Yeah. This is how I
The CFO will come through.
Yes, the CFO will obviously.
And then if you turn over to page 100, it would seem towards the bottom, the CFO says he's going to Durban, he's going for a massive business deal that side. You see that? So they also clearly share some and then if you go to the following page 102, then it's an example of another meeting, and the CFO says, can we meet today, please? So it's another incident of these regular meetings between the two of them. And as you can see, the file is thick with a lot of messages exchanged between them. And then 103 is a continuation of that. Then if you go to page 114, at the bottom there are engagements. At the last message, this is from CFO. He says, just finished. What time do you think you can be this side? You think I can get a bank account in the meantime? I don't want to delay any further. And then at the following page, then he then also says, let's meet. Correct.
Correct.
So, and then go to 117. Then it's at the bottom, it is Mr. Photo. Then below it, this is CFO saying, it's okay, my brother, we are managing this guy, my brother. I just wanted to show you, Mbungulu will never win. Right? Now, what I'm trying to point out to you is that they seem to have some interaction between them. And Nkosi seems to have some access to the CFO of some nature. Another example of their close relationship is graphic at page 125. Towards the bottom there, it's at 18 February, where he says, Mfwetu, I was thinking of you. That's again a very close relationship that we see. But I want us to then go towards February, towards March. So. Go to page 133. 133.
I'm there.
And the CFO asks Sergeant Nkosi, who's Siponkomo or Joe Mabunda from TMPD. Right, and then next page.
Oh,
Would that be yourself?
where does he get a photo of me? My apologies, commissioners. I'm just now shocked to see there's a photo of me.
Is that Sipo? Do you
Yes,
know
and
Sipo?
this is the day, I think it's the second day that I'm at Tshwane Metropolis, where I called all the seniors in my boardroom and I introduced myself. Second or the third day, this is where this photo is stemming from.
I see.
Yes, so yes, this is Brigadier Sipo Sebastian Nkomo. Yeah, I introduced myself as the new commissioner. I called all of them into the boardroom so that they can not see me through an email or messages. I wanted them to meet me in person. So this photo is from 2023.
Okay, and then Joe Mabunda, the following page at at page 136.
And there?
This is the investigation that Celia's Brink talks about. I think we referred to it about one of the suppliers, about the investigation into a security tender. Do you know anything about this?
No, I don't.
Okay.
As you can see, it is from a political party.
Okay, that's fine. Then go to 141.
I'm there.
Thank you. At the top, we start with a lot of calls between the two of them. But then towards the bottom, the second last, the CFO says is General winning. Do you know General by any chance? Who do they refer General as?
I don't know if it's a general in South African Police Service, because we do not have generals in Tshwane Metropolis or in the Metropolis. We've got commissioners and
Correct.
deputy commissioners. So
No, that's fine. I think the
I
testimony.
think, if I'm not mistaken, I think what was revealed in the evidence was that between Mr. Mnisi and Sergeant Gosi, the general was Deputy Commissioner
Mashi.
Dlamini.
Mashi, yes. I was going to just put it because I'm going to juxtapose it later on. Yes.
He is on a general, he is on a rank of a major general. And
I'm not suggesting that that was the official,
so that
but
is-
when they communicated,
Okay.
when they said general, they were
Okay,
referring to
I understand.
to Deputy Commissioner Dlamini.
I understand.
Yeah.
And do you know if, just out of curiosity, whether there was any relation between Omashi Dlamini and the CFO? Do they know each other? Do you know?
No relationship that I'm aware of.
Okay.
On several occasions, even in the management meeting, if there's a matter, then I'm the one that liaising with the CFO, because remember, we are Section 56 appointees.
Okay.
So, no, there's no relationship. Yes, in terms of his administrative support function, he will deal with, obviously, with the CFO's departments, and if he's acting in my state, then definitely will liaise with the CFO. But no relationship that I'm aware of openly, definitely not.
No, that's fine. Thanks. We start to see, this is now in March 2025. And you'll correct me if I'm wrong, this is just after the ad hoc services were signed off by,
Okay.
just to contextualize it, or at least I see the evidence leading to. Then at 142, at the top,
I'm there.
he then says, this is now Sergeant Kosi, he confirmed it will be sorted. Now, he will give feedback soon, before 12. Then below that, CFO says, okay, it's not yet in my system. You see that. And then Kosi crosses fingers. Then we go over to 143. At the top, there's a message where he says, he said he won't disappoint.
I see that message.
Below that, CFO says, thanks, Mfoitu. And then below that says, morning, Captain. This is a forwarded message, and I'll locate it. Please just confirm from Mfoitu Uguti I'm processing the issue, and I've spoken to Kane in Vusi also to increase the target value as the amount is a bit higher, and as soon as all of them are released, I will let you know for his intervention to ensure that Tommy makes payment urgently. You see, this is an engagement about money.
I can
For
see
payment.
that, definitely.
Correct. Do you know of Kane and Vusi?
I don't know who's the captain, because he's greeting morning captain. In terms of, I don't know who Vusi is. And who is this message to the CFO? Because I
Yes,
think
so these are just
the reason
between
why
the
I'm
CFO and
confused is
Nkosi.
Mpumalanga in his
Yes,
H1.
but it has been established.
Oh,
I
okay,
think that's
okay,
where
no.
he comes from.
Okay, thank you.
Um,
If it's to the CFO, the names that I can, and I don't know because there's no surname, so I don't want to assume. I do know there's a Kane and a Tommy when it is in the SCM, the supply chain management. The Vusi, because there's lots of Vusi, so I don't know really, so I don't want to now assume.
Yes.
But if I just look at, because you say this is our CFO of Chwani, that I do know that Kane and Tommy, those names,
okay.
if it is that they are referring to that, because there's no surnames.
That's fair.
And you say both if it is the right ones, both Kane and Tommy are in supply chain management.
Yes, they are. They are. Or the group financial services.
Yes.
Yes, yes, they are.
Thank you.
Definitely, Commissioner Baloy. If it is them.
Thank you. But just to contextualize this, I do apologize. Just leave that file open. Go to file 6.
6. Got it? I'm getting good at this. I've got it.
You've got it. Let me wait for the commissioners. In the meantime, turn to page 427.
427.
Yes. 427.
On there.
In the middle, well, let me just first contextualize. These are WhatsApp chats between Umashi Dlamini, General, and Zero Tolerance, who's Ngozi, Sergeant Ngozi. In the middle, there's a message, and I'll read it. It says, "Morning, Captain."
That's chat number 4.
Chat number 4, indeed. Sorry, apologies.
Yes.
Can you see?
Yes, I'm
Oh,
there by
okay.
chap number 4. Thank you, Chairperson.
It says, "Morning, Captain. Please just confirm for Mfowethu Ubuti I am processing the issue, and I've spoken to Kane and Vusi also to increase the target value as the amount is a bit higher, and as soon as all of them are released, I will let you know for his intervention to ensure that Tommy makes payment urgently." You see, it's identical.
It's identical.
So this message was then forwarded by Sergeant Ngozi to CFO for payment. So the discussion is around payment. All right. While we are there, you will then go down in the same file towards the, I think, chat 7. And it says Mfowethu is the general winning, right? You see that with 3
Yes,
question marks.
Yeah. See.
If you then go to file 5, you see that
Yes.
same message,
Identical.
right? So what seems to be happening is that Ngozi is playing middleman between the two about discussions. You see?
Yes, I do see.
All right. Then go down, still at 143, file 5 now. Commissioners, you may just put away file 6. We'll come back to
So
it
we
later
went
on.
to file 5.
File 5. I think that's where we were.
Oh, where
initially.
we were.
Yes. Then the second last message from Sergeant Ngozi is, yes, we have won, busy with creating requisitions and at the same time releasing them in order for buyers to create POs. You see that?
I see the message.
Now, he is owning the process and says
Yes,
we have won but either way, he's in the middle of it. Now, you'll recall earlier we're dealing about ethics in the
Yes,
SCM
yes.
policy. Just at your level, would you say that Sergeant Ngozi has any role to play in these discussions?
Definitely not. So isn't Sergeant Nkosi from the South African Police Service?
Yes, it is.
He is not an employee of the City of Tshwane or supply chain management. No, I fail to understand what is his role.
Okay. But then it would be a problem if that was the case.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. What it would also highlight is that within the TMPD, there is a problem.
No, definitely. If he is playing a role that he's not supposed to from an external department,
Yes.
also in terms of the previous, all the messages that you have read into record and took us through. Yes, it's concerning, definitely. With the
obviously,
CFO.
General Umashi Dlamini, who's also an important figure here, is your deputy commissioner.
Yes, he is.
Okay. You turn to the next page, 144.
And then,
And I'm not picking. You will see that Sergeant Kosi then sends a Kubis invoice.
it's not employed by them.
He sends a Kubis invoice to CFO. And the caption there is that this one is for the previous financial year. We will engage later. We'll engage later Nomfwetu on how to address it in order to avoid post factum. You see that?
I see.
There are two possibilities how he could be in possession of that invoice other than finding it in the floor. It's either he has it from Kubis or someone within the TMPD gave him. And we see there at the bottom, the signature in the invoice is TP Malachi.
Malachi.
One could assume that it has to be Mr. Chukut Malachi.
Yes, that's correct.
Then the message below is thanks Mfwetu. Go to the following page. I will try, I think I will try and the next at the top, there's a message, evening captain. You see that?
Yes, I do.
Right? Can I ask you, and I do apologize, commissioners, to go to file 6?
Just again, sorry. 420.
429, apologies.
Got it.
At the top, it's chat 1.
Yes.
You'll see that message is identical to the message at page 145.
Yes, it's identical.
And that would also again indicate that there is a web of
Yes,
sorts.
definitely.
And Sergeant Kosi plays some role
Yes.
in that web. And then at page 145 of file 5, then CFO says, thank you for it, much appreciate. Much appreciated. Let's push to finalize everything tomorrow so we can pay those guys before Friday. At the bottom, there's another message from him, the second last one. He says, please extend my gratitude to the general. He has delivered. POs as per the request have been approved. See you later.
Yes, I see that.
That's just on that segment. Now, what I was trying to achieve or to show you is that you've got an intervention around the same time of these ad hoc payments.
Yes.
Where there was a request for funding, but there is this, it may be or may not be related, but you've got Kubis being central here, and also their invoice is being processed, so to speak.
Definitely.
And you've got someone external that is that seems to be the facilitator. And just to avoid any waste of time, Sergeant Kosi did come and testify and didn't dispute that he did play some role in assisting in the processing of payments, but it may be from the fact that it out of his nobility, not anything. What we then go to is the relationship between. We're still going to come to this far. Is the relationship that I'd like us to go through with your employee or your deputy commissioner and Sergeant Nkosi. That's in file 6.
May we at this point just take a quick comfort break? Let's adjourn. Our spokesperson will indicate when we're coming back. It won't be long. Let's adjourn.